Let's do a little more. What do you say? What do you say? What do you know? What do you say? What do you know? Well, if you are already watching this video, I presume you care about the content. So, let us read chapter 12 from the life of Pythagoras. Why Pythagoras calls himself a philosopher, from Heraclides Ponticus. I don't know what the VI is. Vasian? I don't know. It's definitely not that. Number 3, Cicero, Tuscany V. Pythagoras is said to have been the first to call himself a philosopher. A world which heretofore had not been an appellation but a description. A world? I think they meant to say a word, which he likened the entrance of men into the present life to the progression of a crowd to some public spectacle. There assemble men of all descriptions and views. One hastens to sell his wares for money and gain, another exhibits his bodily strength for renown, but the most liberal assemble to observe the landscape, the beautiful works of art, the specimens of valor, and the customary literary productions. So also in the present life men of manifold pursuits are assembled. Some are incensed by the desire of riches and luxury, others by the love of power and dominion, or by insane ambition for glory. But the purest and most genuine character is that of the man who devotes himself to the contemplation of the most beautiful things, and he may properly be called a philosopher. Pythagoras adds that the survey of the whole haven, and of the whole heaven, is that? I think that says haven. And of the stars that revolve therein is indeed beautiful, when we consider their order, which is derived from participation in the first and intelligible essence. But that first essence is the nature and number of reasons, or productive principles, which pervades everything, and according to which all these celestial bodies are arranged eloquently and adorned fittingly. Veritable wisdom is a science conversant with the first beautiful objects, the intelligible properly so called, which subsist in invariable sameness, being undecaying and divine, by the participation in which other things also may well be called beautiful. The desire for something like this is philosophy. Similarly, beautiful is devotion to erudition, and this notion Pythagoras extended in order to effect the improvement of the human race. Chapter 13. He shared Orpheus's control over animals. According to credible historians, his words possessed an admonitory quality that prevailed even with animals, which confirms that in intelligent men learning tames beasts. What? Learning tames beasts, even wild or irrational. The Daunian bear, who had severely injured the inhabitants, was by Pythagoras detained, long stroking it, gently feeding it on maize and acorns, and after compelling it by an oath to leave alone living beings, he sent it away. He hid himself in the mountains and forest, and was never since known to injure any irrational animal. At Tarentum, he saw an ox feeding in a pasture, where he ate green beans. Here come the beans. He advised the herdsman to abstain from this food, to tell the ox to abstain from this food, and to tell. The herdsman laughed at him, remarking he did not know the language of oxen, but that if Pythagoras did, he had better tell him so himself. Pythagoras approached the ox's ear and whispered into it for a long time. Hereafter the ox not only refrained from them, but even never tasted them. The ox lived a long time while at Tarentum near the temple of Juno, and was fed on human food by visitors still very old, considered sacred. Once happening to be talking to his intimates about birds, symbols, and prodigies, and observed that all these are messengers of the gods sent by them to men truly dear to them, when he brought down an eagle flying over Olympia, which he gently stroked and dismissed. Through such and similar occurrences, Pythagoras demonstrated that he possessed the same dominion as Orpheus over savage animals, and that he allured and detained them by the power of his voice. Do, 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 do. You see a little hint of why I got the name Ophidrion. Pythagoras used to make the very best possible approach to men by teaching them what would prepare them to learn the truth in other matters. For by the cleverest and surest indications he would remind many of his intimates of the former life lived by their soul before it was bound to their body. He would demonstrate by indubitable arguments that he had once been Euphorbus, son of Panthus, conqueror of Patroclus. Yeah, okay. He would especially praise the following funeral Homeric verses pertaining to himself, which he would sing to the lyre most eloquently, frequently repeating them. The shining circles of his golden hair, which even the Graces might be proud to wear, instarred with gems and gold, be strewed the shore, with dust dishonored and deformed with gore, as the young olive in some Sylvan scene, crowned by flesh fountains with eternal gleam, lifts the gay head in snowy flowers fair, and plays it and dances to the gentle air. When lo, a whirlwind from high heaven invades the tender plant and withers all its shades, it lies uprooted from its genial bed, a loving ruin now defaced and dead. Thus young, thus beautiful, Euphorbus lay, while the fierce Spartan tore his arms away. The Homer Iliad 17. Pope. We shall, however, omit the reports about the shield of this Phrygian Euphorbus, which, among other Trojan spoils, was dedicated to the Argive Juno, as being too popular in nature. What Pythagoras, however, wished to indicate by all those particulars was that he knew the former lives he had lived, which enabled him to begin providential attention to others, in which he reminded them of their former existences. My man Pythagoras did past life regressions. Alright, auf Wiedersehen.